What's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new video. As a lot of you have already seen in the Go Battle League, Shadow Charizard is all the rage. A lot of players are running Dragon Breath, some of them are running Ember. Really hard to say which one's the best, but I'm gonna settle it right here, right now in this video. We're also gonna pair it with a Pokemon that just recently got buffed. That's gonna be Kingdra. Not only does it have access to Swift, Octazooka, and Outrage, but that newly buffed Dragon Breath means it gets to those moves really, really quick. So let's dive in. We're going to take on Jelani in this game number 1. The lead for our team is going to be the Unova Stunfisk. We're going to have a Kingdra safe switch and then the Charizard as our closer. Now, with this matchup against the Ninetales, obviously we are not going to swap in our Kingdra because that would be devastating. And we're not going to send in our Charizard either because that's our hard answer. So I'm forced to kind of stay in here with the Unova Stunfisk and make the best out of a kind of mid situation, right? Weather Ball connects. Gonna spam off the Mud Bombs here with my ground type and try to chip down this Alola Ninetales, make it more manageable. And if I can get both shields, that would be honestly insane. Gonna go for another Mud Bomb here at the final second. I guess I could have gone for the discharge there, but either way, I think getting off the charge stack is what matters. Opponent no shields that Mud Bomb. I bring in the Charizard and they go for the additional charm, which means I get 2 Embers. I'm able to fast attack down, which is really nice. Opponent comes in now with Umbreon, a very bulky dark type Pokemon that we don't see very often these days, but I do connect the Blast Burn into it. Alola Ninetales and Umbreon, this reminds me a lot of the Smash King team from seasons past with the defense form Deoxys as well, but no DD, right? We haven't seen the third Pokemon yet. Gonna go for the Dragon Claw. Now I know Air Cutter is a new move on this Pokemon and I have seen a lot of Air Cutter Shadow Charizards, but I'm still sticking with the tried and tested Dragon Claw for this video. Dark Pulse connects into the Kingdra. In comes Nidoqueen with its Mud Slap. It's doing a lot of damage and they do get to the Poison Fang. And I guess I could have tried to power through with the Charizard here, but I'm just not that confident yet. I'm just starting off with it. So I am gonna stay in with the Kingdra, shield it, go for the Outrage here, and hit the knockout onto the Nidoqueen. Now the Umbreon comes back in, and I'm gonna go for the Swift here. Doesn't really matter how good my timing is. Kingdra's gonna win the charge tag priority, and the Swift is gonna be almost quite enough, and the Dragon Breaths do the rest. So Kingdra, really fun safe swap. We got to see a little glimpse of the Shadow Charizard there. We know Blast Burn hits hard, right? But let's see just how fast it really is. Game number 2, Scizor. What a menace of a Pokemon. If you do not have a hard answer to this, it's really difficult to deal with. And I'm in the same situation I was in game number 1, where I can't really safe switch anything here. I don't want to send a Dragon type up against a Steel type. That's just not a good time. And I don't want to switch in my Charizard either, especially not right off the bat, because then I kind of expose myself to whatever might be down the line. Hopefully I can get the second shield though with the discharge, and we do. Now the window's open for Charizard to come in. They swap in Magcargo. And this is honestly, if there's an argument to run Dragon Claw in Go Battle League, it's for matchups like this, because the Dragon Claw does a ton of damage and Air Cutter just would not have cut it. We go on the charge tech priority versus this Magcargo, and things are going from bad to worse for our opponent because we are going to pick up the knockout here after just a few moments. My opponent might have even top lefted when they lost the charge tech priority. I think they probably just gave up. Yeah, I think that's what happened here. They got so demoralized that they totally gave up on this battle. Oh, and that's why they had a Superior in the back. We're just gonna go ahead and Blast Burn this Pokemon real fast, get it off the field. But of course, as you know, when your opponent has already left the battle, it kind of slows down. You have these pauses in between charge attacks. We know the Scizor is the final Pokemon, but seriously, the Stunfisk taking both shields in the lead, that was wild. I recognize my opponent had the Magcargo, so they didn't exactly want that Stunfisk to stick around, but either way, Charizard sweeps up in the end. Going to this next battle, Stunfisk into Malamar. Very neutral matchup. This is the first time actually that we could swap into the Kingdra and move the pieces around a little bit, but I'm going to stay in for just a moment and see what this Malamar decides to do. Malamar does fire the Foul Play on charge tech priority with the Unova Stunfisk. Gonna go for the Mud Bomb here. It's just more judicious, right? It's a little lower energy cost, and we do get there a little bit faster. Well, I guess we get there at the same time. Gonna go for a second Mud Bomb against a Malamar. I don't think this is a charge tech priority because we lost the first time around. Opponent, oh, I thought about the swap super late, but my opponent is able to fire off the superpower actually and connect it. And ooh, even in spite of the debuffed attack, they still side wave down. Coming in now with the Charizard, I'm just gonna let this one through because it is superpowered one stage. And big mistake, they throw another superpower into my flying type Charizard. You can see Charizard's really happy about that, kind of shrugs it off. Typhlosion coming in here. Hopefully we can command a shield with the Dragon Claw. That one does get the shield. And I'm starting to open up a little bit of play for myself. Opponent is going to throw the charge attack. I assume this is Thunder Punch, right? But Kingdra still is a sub-water typing, does not want to take too much damage, especially early on. Opponent gets to another Thunder Punch because it's just that fast, and I'm going to be forced to let this one through. More Dragon Breaths coming on here. Trying to time my Swift just right. 5 Dragon Breaths per Incinerate, which means you can do 9 through 2 Incinerates and still throw your charge attack. I feel safe shielding here. If my opponent stays in, they're going to get farmed down, so I'm going to see that third Pokemon more often than not, and it is a Primeape. Oh, and right when they get to the 4th Karate Chop, we connect with the Outrage. Good pacing from Kingdra there to get the knockout on to that Primeape, and then Dragon Breath all the way down on the Typhlosion. So very, very nice. Kingdra is a really fun Pokemon to play. I know this is a Shadow Charizard spotlight, but Kingdra, Charizard, they're a dynamic duo. Really brutal lead here in this next battle with the Shadow Kanto Marowak. They swap in Dodrio, and I know this Pokemon has access, ooh, bad timing by me. I know this Pokemon has access to Trailblaze. It also has Drill Peck, I believe. Swift is going to peel away the first shield, and we do get a second Swift. A lot of opponents still don't know the counts for these moves, so that's a recurring theme you're going to see early on in the season. Maybe some hesitant shields or some double shields when they probably weren't expecting to do so. Trailblaze does connect, and they do get the KO, but we come in with the Stunfisk. This Dodrio has Trailblazed once, so I know the second one is going to do even more damage, but Stunfisk is a bulky stack of pancakes, so we're going to let that one through. I go for 2 more. I probably could have done maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 more additional Thunder Shocks, but it doesn't matter. We're trying to pave the way for a 2-shield Charizard. Let's go, baby. We're cooking with oil at this point. Blast Burn coming through here from the Shadow Charizard. This is going to connect. Shadow Kanto Marowak. Control-Alt-Delete off the field. In comes Corviknight. Oh, I got bad news for you, Steelbird. You are out of here. Wanting to avoid the violence, Corviknight wisely turns around and runs back home. Next battle, Shadow Kanto Marowak in the lead yet again, which means we're going to have to go into our Kingdra and see what we can do. We know this is the Bone Club, and I do not want to let my safe swap get annihilated that quickly, so I'm going to use my first shield of the game. Gonna go for 2 more Dragon Breaths before I throw the Swift. Opponent actually waits to see the Dragon Breaths and then goes into the Azumarill, which is really clever, but I am able to connect the Swift no matter what, which is the move I would have wanted to throw anyway. Going for a second Swift here. On the switch timer as well. I want to get back to that Stunfisk if I'm able to and get some use out of it, and we go immediately to it here. Let's see which move we caught onto our Stunfisk. It will be Ice Beam, which is not the best, but it's fine. You know, we'll make the most of it. Gonna go for a Discharge here against the Azumarill. This will bring this Pokemon down deep into the red, which makes it palatable for my other 2 Pokemon if they need to farm it down, but the Kanto Marowak comes out as well. So I'm forced to throw the Mud Bomb into it here. This matchup is getting a little bit sticky. I'm not exactly sure, what my win cons are, because this Marowak has so much energy. I think about maybe doing like a Peekaboo play, but I know my switch timer is not ready yet. Oh, it actually is. And I come in with the Kingdra, throw a couple of Dragon Breaths into this Swift. Now I could swap and try to catch a Bone Club on Charizard, but I'm so close to another Swift. Ooh, I don't really know. Okay, I'm gonna let the Kingdra go. Oh, it's a Rock Slide, and we swap anyway. In comes the Crustle, but it's a Fury Cutter Crustle. And you know what? The Rock Wreckers are not gonna help you, Bug. You're gonna get annihilated here by the Blast Burn, and it looks like Charizard is gonna sweep another game here for us. I know that the Bone Club is going to be not very effective, and we're able to call the Bone Club bait. Let's absolutely go. Building some additional energy, going for the Dragon Claw here. It's going to be close. We're going to have to get real fancy here to take down the Azumarill, but the Dragon Claw will connect. Azumarill coming in. We deal a couple of Embers. We swap into the Kingdra. Combo play into the Dragon Breath Swift for the big KO here against the Fairy type. And if the first Swift doesn't do it, the second Swift doesn't do it, the third Swift will get the job done at the very end. Lost Marowak 7. Very cool name, by the way. It's going to be leading Primeape in this next battle. Primeape, a Pokemon that can have access to Ice Punch. That's what you normally see with like the Shadow Primeape. They're going to go for the Rage Fist straight away here and then swap into their Kanto Marowak. Non-Shadow, but still, brownie points for Lost Marowak playing Marowak. That's honestly pretty meta. Bone Club connects because it's not Shadow. I'm comfortable not shielding. Gonna go for the Swift here. I know the Outrage would knock out, but I really think my opponent's gonna shield, and they do. And at this point, I already took one shield. I'm gonna try to go for double and then save my final shield for the Charizard, which is something we've done once or twice before in this game, or in this this video already. Gonna go for the Outrage. Will this connect? 3, 2, 1. Shield, unfortunately. Mudslap does knock out the Kingdra. I come in with the Charizard, and this Pokemon's got a lot of energy. In comes the Primeape, though, and I swap back into the Unova Stunfisk to soak this Rage Fist. Now, this is not going to do too much damage. It's only the first Rage Fist in a series of them that are likely to come, but I'm able to connect with the Mud Bomb. This Pokemon is just barely outside of Thundershock downrange, which is a little negative, but if I leave a bit of HP on it, I can get a Ember or 2 and load that up for the final matchups, and that's what I'm going to try to do, except we get the simultaneous knockout. Charizard comes in. Oh my goodness, it's an Alola Ninetales. We double up on the Blast Burn. There is no way we can lose this game now unless our charge attack buttons just disappear, which please don't disappear. In comes the Marowak. Maybe we were 1 Ember short, but anyway, opponent throws the Bone Club. We have the Blast Burn ready to go. Gonna throw it here into the Marowak. We've already seen how much damage this does. Shadow Charizard, again, Control, Alt, Delete, out of here. Kanto Marowak goes down. Next battle against KJM13. Let's see what you got. KJM leads Altaria. This is a very neutral matchup. Of course, being a dragon typing, it makes this electric damage not as impactful as you would like against flying types, but we are able to chip down over time, and they have a really hard time hitting us too, because Sky Tech is resisted, and then you've got something like Flamethrower, which is neutral, and then Moonblast, occasionally you might see that. I mean, Flamethrower doesn't do that much damage. It's kind of like trading blows back and forth. We're pretty evenly matched at this point. Gonna go for the second discharge here. The difference though is that we are gonna outpace just slightly to our third move, whereas Altaria is just now getting to their second. No shield here on the Flamethrower, not a huge deal. After I chip this down, I'm actually considering swapping it to Kingdra to try to snipe it, but I stay in with the Stunfisk and we get the full T-Shock down. Let's go. Unova Stunfisk winning the zeros versus this Altaria, and this is an ABA flying team allegedly, because we see a Corviknight and we are able to fry it with the discharge. So I'm really glad we didn't swap, because this allows me to put my Charizard up against Corviknight. This is really fast. It's got to be Air Cutter. There's no way around it. So we no shield. Charizard doing a lot of damage. The Embers are adding up. Gonna go for a Dragon Claw here. We know that the Air Cutters are 9 turns each, so we don't want to get hit by another one. They come in with Empoleon, and this is interesting because there's still 4 shields in the game. So I'm gonna bait Dragon Claw here, see if we can pick up one of them, and we do, which is really nice. But the Metal Sounds are also adding up. I'm gonna go ahead and shield my Charizard because I feel like I can take that second shield away from the Empoleon if I stay in here. We're gonna bait again. Honestly, if I'm being candid, I should have just thrown the Blast Burn. This is super high risk, but the opponent does shield, which is really nice and allows us to bring in our Kingdra. Kingdra can eat 1 Drill Peck, but not 2, especially from his Shadow Empoleon, right? But they throw the Hydro Cannon, maybe a little bit of short circuit in the brain there, but Drill Peck is definitely what you want to use in this matchup. Gonna get to the Outrage here, and that's gonna be a G's versus this Empoleon. Resisted or not, this is gonna be enough. So Stunfisk, I think, is really good in the meta. The Shadow Charizard and Kingdra combo is something I discovered that was actually really fun. Last battle of the video though, we have a Pelipper in the lead. And this matchup should go the Stunfisk way, right? Opponent does not want to get hit with that high voltage, so I was expecting a swap, and not seeing one is a little bit surprising here. Opponents recognizes they can do a lot of damage with their Weather Ball of their own, but they swap now into the Clodsire, and I've got a decision to make. Do I stay in here and throw Mud Bombs, or do I go to Kingdra? I just answered my own question. I go into Kingdra here, and hopefully I can connect with an Outrage to pick up the KO, but I know that an Earthquake would be devastating, so I am going to shield that one up. Overcharge just a little bit, and I decided to go for the Swift. This is probably not the best decision in retrospect. I should have just YOLO'd the Outrage, but I know I can get to the second Swift and still pick up the knockout, so that works either way, I guess. Opponent no shields it. They still have 2 Protect Shields. They come in with Heliolisk. This is a Pokemon that does have access to Breaking Swipe, which will do a lot of damage to my Dragon type Kingdra, and I can't really send my Unova Stunfisk out against it, right? Because it has a Grass type move, right? So I'm forced to go into Charizard, trying to catch the Breaking Swipe. Let's see what my opponent decides to throw. This will be the, oh no, it's a Parabolic Charge, and it nukes my Charizard so hard. There's nothing I can do about that. Coming out with the Kingdra, dealing some Dragon Breath damage, trying to get 3 Dragon Breaths in lieu of that Volt switch and then fire off the Swift. We did pick up the KO. Opponent has Pelipper in the back as their final Pokemon. This might be a fast move showdown, but I'm gonna try to take one of these shields here with the Swift. My switch timer is almost up as well. Reaching for that Stunfisk. Give me the pancake. I need that electric type damage. Opponent is going to make this matchup very close, which honestly, I should be a little bit disappointed in myself because I had a great typing matchup, but Pelipper is just strong, right? And Weather Ball did get buffed, so there is a lot of merit to it. In comes the Kingdra trying to go for the Dragon Breath down, and we get it in the final moment. So very fun set of battles. Shadow Charizard with Ember, I think is the way to go. It's faster, it hits hard. Dragon Breath is fun, but you want that Ember, especially for all the steel types and the fairy types you're seeing in the meta right now. Kingdra, don't sleep on it. It actually is pretty good. That's all I've got for today, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye.